And this past year, 2015, was another record-setting year on top of 2014. We were truly blessed this year with some unbelievable visitation from our tourist guests, our sports, arts and culture guests. It was a solid year. In fact, it was so good, we were up 18% over last year's record year. Now, there's a lot of questions about why the big increase. You've exceeded every other county in the state of Florida. You're on a record pace, and you have been for the last 6 years. What's the answer? Well, there isn't a silver bullet. There really isn't. It just takes a lot of good planning, strategic planning, if you will, some great stakeholders and partners, including our Board of County Commissioners and the Tourist Development Council. They are the base and the guide, if you will, for a lot of the strategic plans that the staff and others within the community carry out. However, there's two resources that we manage. One, financial resource or capital resources. Of course, you know, you're paying for a lot of things. Your advertising, your marketing, your sales, and all of those types of things. The second resource that any manager will deal with are human resources. And human resources, in our opinion, in tourism and sports marketing, are absolutely number one. There's nothing even close. And it really takes people to develop the relationships with the stakeholders and with the potential clients out there, whether they're corporate clients, whether they're individual consumers that we deal with every single day at our Visitors Information Center, both at Legoland and at I-4 in 27. So no, there's not a silver bullet, but there's a lot of things that we're doing right, and it all starts with strategy. Targeting those segments that are the best match for Polk County's assets, and we have a lot of them here. Of course, sports and all the infrastructure makes a big difference. Our attractions, Bach Tower Gardens, Safari Wilderness, Legoland, Florida. Now, for 5 years after recruiting that organization, Merlin Entertainments, they have driven the numbers up. There's no question about it. On May 15th, they opened their hotel, the Resort Hotel, 152 rooms. They're at 98% occupancy. It doesn't get much better than that. And when you're looking at an average daily rate of over $200 a night, hey, all that money is coming into Polk County. Now, we just did some research not too long ago, looking back to, or actually 3 years, and the increase in money. Now, tourism and sports, they're exports. The money comes in, people leave with a t-shirt, they leave with a great feeling, photographs, a full stomach, and hopefully a great night's sleep. But money is flowing into Polk County. Just hotel rooms in the first 10 months pumped more than $100 million into Polk County's economy, $111 million to be exact. And that creates jobs, it creates wealth for Polk County. It is truly an export, and it truly makes all of our businesses and citizens better off. Now, if we drill down into some of the details of some of the other successes that we've had that have contributed to this huge increase of 18%, we start off at the beginning of the year with what was called the IPSC, the International Practical Shooting Confederation World Shoot. We had approximately 71 countries, the two largest countries being represented, foreign countries, Russia and the UK. But these 71 countries brought in almost 2,000, just short of 2,000 athletes that competed from, believe it or not, 11 years old to 81 years old, somewhere in that range. And they're competing for the World Championships. Now, this is the Super Bowl of shooting sports, and it was held in Frostproof at the Universal Shooting Academy. Many thanks go out, first of all, to Frank Garcia, who went with us to Greece to recruit this event more than 3 years ago, but also every single county department was instrumental and helpful in pulling this off, from the Sheriff's Office to the Board of County Commissioners themselves to the Public Information Office, Mayanne Nelson and the great staff at PGTV. We go right down the list. And it wasn't just within the Board of County Commissioners family. it was also the city of Lakeland, Frostproof, Mulberry. They were all involved in this huge, huge event, and the economic impact was in the millions of dollars. The beauty of all of that, it came in what we call a shoulder season, or a trough in visitation during that month, during the fall months. And that's one of our strategies, to try to fill those troughs, because it helps cash flow with our local businesses, keeps people employed, and it's something that tourism and sports marketing, part of our mantra, if you will, is to fill those troughs up and make everybody better off. Well, a number of other huge events that came in and recruiting successes. One would be Skills USA, and Skills USA is sort of an economic development as well as tourist development initiative that brings the best and the brightest from throughout the state of Florida into Polk County to compete, yes, compete in all sorts of skills and trades. And Travis Votek and John Small with the school board and all the different academic organizations that are involved in skills and trade development of our local citizens benefited from this. It also opens the door to many of our employers who actually, they can take a look at this top talent that's coming in from around the state, literally cherry pick that talent. And so it just, again, makes us all better off. In the world of baseball, one of our top two sports when it comes to recruiting, it was a banner year in the area of softball, a little over 30 events that pumped more than $12 million into the economy. The Tournament of Champions, which is the top senior softball event in the world, was held here for the 6th straight year. Very blessed to have that and have a solid working relationship with Senior Softball USA based out of Sacramento, California. It all goes back to relationships. Baseball, wow, Russ Mat Baseball, 217 teams. What's interesting, comes in the month of, the latter part of February, all of March, and the first part of, or the first week of April, and more than 27,000 room nights. Now that's a lot of money, and it's a lot of jobs, keeping people employed and healthy financially, that is, right here in Polk County. And of course, you got to talk about the Detroit Tigers. You know, one of the top 3 teams in total attendance in the entire Major League Baseball spring training. Now, the Detroit Tigers, with all their superstar power, been some changes over the last few months in terms of their roster. We're expecting an even better year this year, but 135,000 people walked through the turnstiles at Joker Marchant Stadium. So baseball, everything from the amateur baseball that we have here, the Lakeland Flying Tigers, which is, of course, a Florida State League, the Detroit Tigers, collegiate baseball, youth baseball, big, big business year-round right here in Florida. They can't say that up in New York or Wisconsin or some of the cold weather states. One of our strategic advantages, to say the least. Basketball still pretty popular here. The state championships pump millions of dollars, both the boys and girls basketball state championships. Florida High School Athletic Association, still great partners with Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, City of Lakeland, and all the folks here in Polk County. So basketball, very strong. Youth Basketball of America state championships, more than 229 events, pumping $134 million into Polk County. That's an enormous amount of money for just sporting events. Now you have to talk about arts and culture, and the great job that the Arts and Culture Committee has done this past year and energizing some of these arts events and creating some very special events. And of course, the marketing campaign, partially orchestrated with Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing staff, as well as Mary Mass with the Polk Arts Alliance, and that has proven to be very, very effective. Business travel is up. A lot of things happening in the world of business travel right now, so recruiting, meetings, and conventions, we're ramping those things up. Looking to the future, however, and we talked a lot about the successes here, but we've set the groundwork for the years to come. 5 major projects have been approved that were brought to the Tourist Development Council by staff, brought to the Board of County Commissioners for guidance, for approval, and their blessing. And indeed, they blessed it. First of all, renovations to Joker Marchant Stadium, partially involved in helping with that. And you know, it's an economic generator, not just during the 6 weeks of spring training, but throughout the year. So hats off to the Tigers organization, great community partners. And there's 4 others as well that were approved, that some of them are in the works now, including 4 new collegiate baseball fields at Lake Myrtle, which is going to be huge, and we're going to need it this year. Last year, 217 teams. This year, more than 250 teams. The problem we're having now is finding enough hotel rooms, which we're going to get to in a minute because it's on the supply side development strategy of Polk County Tourism and Sports. The third project, a huge project, is the renovation of the Lakeland Center, much needed, targeting meetings and convention, a lot of money in those areas, as well as more indoor sports there. A third project, the fourth project would happen to be a conference center and indoor arena for the City of Winter Haven's Chain of Lakes Park. Now we're talking in the neighborhood of an additional $30 million in projected economic impact from that investment for a long time to come. A lot of money, a lot of jobs. Now the fifth project, one of the most unique, and it involves agritourism, it involves ecotourism, it involves nature, heritage, equestrian, and possibly some other developments down in Fort Meade. Now there's a cluster of tourism attractors down there, including Alafia River Rendezvous, Homeland Heritage Park. You haven't been there, you gotta go, it's cool. The flywheelers, and now this development project in Fort Meade. Within the next 4 to 5 years, we're hoping to get that thing rolling and underway and open to the public. A good part of that is going to be focusing in on equestrian, both competition as well as recreational riding and so on. Those are the big 5. That sets the stage for the future in Polk County. One of the things that the future is going to bring as well is aviation. Now we are the hotbed for aviation in the state of Florida. Polk County? Yeah, Polk County. When you have the aeronautical high school, John Small and his crew at the school board have done a marvel. 105 of these, they're not charter schools, but they're specialty schools. Harrison School of the Arts is another one. But the aeronautical school at the Sun and Fun campus has been a blessing for many. In fact, I have a son that just graduated from there, so I think it's a great program. But Sun and Fun contributing more than $50 million into the economy here in Polk County. It's getting bigger, it's getting better. Can't say enough about the state stepping up. Visit Florida, what a marvelous job they did in seeing the value of aviation. But we have Brown Seaplane Base, of course, Kermit Weeks. We were talking attractions a little bit earlier, and as long as we're on that, wow, Safari Wilderness, a new attraction opening up, getting kudos across the board as a top flight attraction in the state of Florida. Fantasy of Flight, Kermit Week still open on the weekends. Largest collection of largest private collection, that is, of vintage aircraft in the world. And what more can you say about Bach Tower? It's a historical landmark. They've invested $13 million in new infrastructure there. And so with all of that said, in the future that we have here in Polk County, yes, it takes supply side investment, great strategy, knowing what the visitor wants, then investing in that infrastructure, so then we can use our world-class strategy, award-winning strategies to drive visitation, drive traffic to these attractions, to the many amenities, from arts and culture to sports to our great attractions. That's what's making Polk County the leader in the state when it comes to tourism and sports. Are we blessed to have it all? There's no question about it. Well, as you've seen, 2015 was a banner year for Polk County. But 2016, it's looking even better. Our numbers are way up so far this year, more than 28% in the first 2 months of the fiscal year. 2016, 17, and beyond, creating jobs, making life better and more prosperous for all of our businesses and citizens of Polk County.